So with the trilogy, are you calling it a trilogy, or is that just like for the benefits of certain screenings?
I'm calling it a trilogy.
Yeah? So you just okay.
It is a trilogy.
Yeah, well...
It's a trilogy, but there's tendrils to the trilogy too. Like I feel like Uncle Kent is also
exactly
connected, and Autoerotic's connected, and Caitlin Plays Herself is connected, but they're inside of the triangle, I'd say, but not part of the trilogy.
The Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah. Of 2010 movies.
Well, what I find interesting about them is that they're all kind of united by the meta level that a lot of them have being about filmmaking. Mm-hmm. But anytime I read anyone talking about that, I don't ever see anyone mention the kind of lineage of art film. And it seems like because they're almost more difficult films structurally, that they are kind of moving more into that mode.
Yeah.
Is that something that you reflected on while making them?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's certainly not territory that people haven't been to before, but you know, it's. I mean, I just feel like in general, audiences are less interested in art film than they ever have been. Even the cinephile audience is just as excited by Mad Men and the Avengers as they are by serious art film. You know, this movie VHS that I directed one of the segments of. After Sundance, you know, like the Film Society of Lincoln Center's website, they had somebody at Sundance covering the festival, and you know, VHS was like their favorite film of the festival. And obviously I really like VHS, but it's also, it's not striving to be a part of the serious art film discussion. And then the people who are sort of hosting the serious art film discussion are bringing it in, and it's a little weird because the people who are trying to be part of the serious art film discussion, it's harder than ever to enter into that conversation as all this other stuff is being dragged in. But I think I think the cinephiles are just bored in general. You know, I feel like there's only so much time you can spend watching movies before you just get bored, and you have to start looking for stuff. You have to start concocting cockamamie explanations for movies and things like that. I know because I've been there.
Well, the explanation is kind of built into the zone too.
Yeah.
Was that something?
That started. I feel like Nights and Weekends was the first thing that I made, where the second half of Nights and Weekends is a comment on the making of the first half. Like, it feels very self-contained to me, and I like that structure. It feels nice. It sort of wraps up in a nice little package, but still leaves a few questions. Like at the end of The Zone, spoiler alert. You know, when my wife and I are sitting there talking about the film and the film within the film. Even though it ends there, hopefully that conversation should be questioned too, as far as whether it's real or not. And so in a way, it's like a nice summary of what you've just watched, and then also it's totally an open door to question all of it at that point.
Do you think people are going to get that reading, though? It seems like it's kind of...
I do think so, from talking to people, that's making sense. I mean, the Zone is a weird movie because, in a way, it's like 45 minutes of a bad movie to get to the part where they talk about how it's not very good, and then it's another 30 minutes of a bad movie to get to the final conversation where they talk about how it's not very good. And it's a lot to ask of an audience, you know? I mean, I don't... it's not a goof for me. It's not like I'm making fun of the audience or any of that stuff. I'm trying to have a very, very serious conversation about performance and about mumblecore and where the lines get drawn between acting and non-acting and a character and playing yourself, and how playing yourself is still a character. And The Zone was the only way that I knew of to really talk about that kind of stuff. and to show, to provide real side-by-side examples of that, those levels of performance. But at the same time, it's a weird thing to ask an audience to go along with me, But I'm trying to put these 3 movies out into the world in a way where I'm letting the audience come to it. I'm not trying to shove it down anyone's throat, They're not, they're being presented in very specific ways for the people who are willing to go along on this little thing with me.
In The Zone, the iPhone's used as a device in the actual film within a film, and then when you're talking about the film within a film, it's talked about as a device to kind of get around certain continuity issues. But it's also a kind of realism. It's a realistic aesthetic. And then that last shot is pointedly not in an iPhone. How did you balance how people read the iPhone footage versus the more traditional footage?
Well, I mean, the 7D for me, the Zone was the first thing that I shot in, on the 7D, and I mean, it's just as much a novelty as the iPhone, I thought. I mean, it was nice to mirror those two aesthetics, and I think we're kind of living in a time where everybody's super media literate. Even non-filmmaker, non-media people still have a really good radar for reality and fiction. And because of YouTube and web video and amateur pornography and all these kind of things, we've all gotten very used to watching a certain kind of reality, a way that we feel like reality looks, real reality, not reality TV reality. And so I'm constantly trying to bring the movies into that space, and have them be little time capsules of these aesthetics, which are coming and going really quickly now, at a much faster rate than they used to. So with each new movie, whatever the thing, like Uncle Kent, I didn't make very long ago. I shot it in around this time in 2010, so only 2 years ago. But at the time, it was the flip cam. Now it's the iPhone, and it's only 2 years later. And I feel like 2 years from now, it'll be some other cool new device that people are using that hooks over your ear and has a little camera, whatever it is. I'm gonna keep bringing this stuff into the work and keep having the movies look like whatever right now looks like.